All right, are we live?
Yeah, we're live now. Cool.
Oh, we're
So,
live, sorry.
what's up, everybody? My name's JB, the Ultimate Writer from the Five Bros podcast. With me, as always, is my bro.
Kia ora, bro. Yes, I'm here again, and Fight Bros number 6. Who would have thunk it, mate?
Doing good, doing well. It's a good listen. Well, according to the people that bothered to say anything.
Yeah, I got a couple good feedbacks. It's nice to hear. I mean, anything's good though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, don't forget to rate us on iTunes or whatever podcast system you use. That'll be great. Give us some feedback. Give us
Let's
some
start that
feedback on the
again.
page.
Should we start that again? That was
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. If you want. Okay, sweet.
Go.
All right. Cool. What's up, everybody? It's me, JB, the Ultimate Writer from the Five Bros podcast. With me, as always, is my bro. What's up?
How's it, bro? Yeah, Anaru here again from Fight Bros and Combat Sports. Nice to be here, brother. We got a special guest on tonight, mate. Can you guess who it is?
I can guess who it is. Yeah, I think I think I can guess who it is. Either that or I've been horribly misled. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's, the StoneCutter himself. Is that right?
Kieran the StoneCutter Joblin, all the
Yeah.
way from Church, and he just fought on the weekend, and that'll be cool. It's cool to catch up with him. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's great. It's going to be a good interview. You're going to go through it with him. That'll be awesome. And we got a
Yeah.
lot of other stuff to talk about as well.
Yeah, heaps to talk about. Lots of Kiwis fought last weekend. We missed our Sunday rendezvous, but that's okay. Here we are on a Wednesday, and we can do some catching up.
Yeah, just changing gears, changing into the Wednesday. Let's talk about this past weekend. We had UFC Hidalgo with Dustin Poirier. That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was. I've never heard of Hidalgo before. Last weekend, I had no idea where it was for a while, but
Yeah,
I still actually don't know where the fuck it was. But anyway, yeah, I saw a few fights, man, and that those the main and the co-main stood out for me.
yeah, great fights. Dustin Poirier. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but it's kind of shown that his chin is maybe a little suspect now. He's pretty chinny. He's a pretty young guy, but he's already getting put away. And Michael Johnson is a solid striker, but he's not like just an intense KO artist. So for him to put away Dustin Poirier really quickly was might have said something about his chin.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Of course, the chin is it can only take so much. But there was a decent shot, coming through that flurry that actually Dustin was throwing, I believe, at the time, and
Mm.
Michael just caught him right on the lips. It was a really great shot, and put him away quickly after that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, great. Well, I'm a Michael Johnson fan. I'm indifferent about the diamond, Dustin Poirier, but yeah, I thought it was a great finish and good post fight interview. Another example of someone who gets that mic and just takes advantage of it. It was great.
Yeah. Little bit of to some, I guess, controversy how he was like, all that emotion after he knocked out, and Dustin was still on the ground and a lot of emotion coming out. But then he did go and shake his hand later. There must be a lot of things happening in that moment. I can't really judge the fighter. I just looked at
Yeah.
Dustin's record, man. He hasn't been knocked out since Connor in
Mm.
2014. So, but yeah, like you said, he's been fighting for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He another one I believe who's recently stopped hard sparring. You mentioned last week, Cowboy,
Okay.
and it's with Cowboy. I think it might be preemptive. With Dustin Poirier, it might be reactive. But it's good. It's good. It's good to see those guys. Um, it's hard sparring less. There's no need to. Once you've been hard sparring for 10 years, I don't think you need to continue hard sparring.
Yeah, it's a great question, I guess I might ask Kieran or other fighters moving forward, like, was that point where do they realize it's only in when they actually having that real fight where they realize that they can't take a shot, or does that come in the training, in a training camp, maybe they take a shot that they normally walk through, and they start to realize, well, maybe, I need to fucking calm this down a bit.
Yeah, well, some fighters have commented that getting knocked out in training or getting dropped in training is like nothing. It's just part of a camp, and that doesn't sound great because theoretically, if you get KO'd in the cage at an event, then you have like a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, whatever stand down period. And these guys, if they're getting dropped in training, then they're not having any type of stand down period, and they're still potentially getting concussed. So it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's a hard sport, man. Like, fuck, like they need that hard sparring to train hard to fight easy, and finding that limit and taking those shots, and then still, you got to get that payday. You got to make that weight and go and fight after you've been cleaned up, and sparring must be a hard process.
Yeah, well, for some people, like imagine the how it could affect your morale or your confidence going into the fight. If you've been dropped 3 or 4 times by someone who isn't a world champion, who's only simulating a world champion, then you're about to step in there against that noted striker who just has been knocking every single person in their way out. Who knows what they could do for your confidence.
Yeah, bro. I think a famous one was Forrest Griffin. I believe it came out after he fought Anderson that he was dropped or concussed twice in training camp before that fight. And we saw what happened to him. Like, he was slow as shit, and he got pretty much KO'd from just a touch on the lips.
Yeah, a lunging straight, like almost a jab.
Yep.
And yeah, Forrest Griffin, his chin was on the decline in a big way, and being knocked out by Anderson Silva like that, he just started to gather a highlight reel of horrible knockouts.
Yeah. Anderson's in the same boat, and yeah.
Rashad over here, he was in the same boat too.
Rashad's in the same boat. I don't know what he's up to next, but didn't they just confirm a fight for him actually?
Yeah, I believe so.
Middleweight? I think he's fighting middleweight at in New York, is it? Who's our facts guy?
Right.
Big up the facts guy, bro. Where are you when we need you?
Yeah, well, his most recent fight was in April this year.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, the rest of that card, to be honest, nothing sticks out for me, mate. The Chaz Scally, I think that was obviously a standout. What was it? The record for the fastest submission?
Yeah, that's right. That was crazy. Yeah, it was great. It was both of them went for that flying front kick. He landed, then Maximo Blanco actually recovered, scramble, and then just locked up the Das immediately. And then, dude, he had to like tell Herb that he was out.
Out. Yeah, 19 seconds. That's crazy for a sub, man. I wonder what there was before that. It must have been, I don't know, 30 or something. Where's our facts guy? Anyway. Yeah, anything else on that card stick out to you, man? Did you have a good day watching that? You were probably cooking some of that delicious meat I keep seeing you posting about.
Yeah, that's right. Well, anytime you want to come down, you are more than welcome to come over. But yeah, it was great. The weather was average, but as soon as the weather became good, I was out there doing it. But the Derek Brunson versus Uriah Hall fight, I thought was great for Derek Brunson. I thought the knockout, was legit and clean. I didn't think the stoppage was in any way controversial. Uriah Hall was like trying to take Herb Dean down. So
yeah, it's always hard when it's that quick, and and
These guys,
they've got more in the chamber.
that's right. It's half the time the only reason that a guy recovers is because the ref stopped that guy from being pummeled in the head. So
Yeah, yeah, and you expect them to jump in when you see those eyes rolling back or whatever.
the head bouncing off the
Um,
canvas and
yeah,
stuff.
it's not an easy job. There
Oh my,
was a lot of people giving the ref shit for that, but nah, it looked all right to me.
yeah, like surely one punch too few is preferable to one punch too many. Like look at the Stipe on Overeem knockout. There was like 3 or 4 huge, heavy KO blows where the ref potentially could have saved Overeem a bit of wear and tear.
Yeah, that's true. It's yeah, split seconds really. It's like moments. The ref could be, a couple of meters away, and that's 3 more punches than if he's
Mm,
right on top of them. So I mean, I think they do their very, very best, mate. Of
exactly.
course.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's one of the hardest jobs in the world, and credit to all the refs in any promotion, any sport, anywhere, because they're doing the hard yards often for little to no money.
Yeah, bro. What
Yeah.
else?
That was a good fight. I don't know. The rest of it was good fights. Nothing epic to me. I enjoyed the card though, but I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, Brazil, headlined by Cyborg and Lena Landsberg, who is not bad at all. I
Mm,
researched her for everyone. I put up a photo for you all to familiarize yourself with, and but she is like fresh meat. Her first fight, I believe, in the UFC, brand new, man, and you're throwing her against the best fighter there is. I mean, there must be. Well, how can that happen? Like, she might get killed.
yeah, it's tough. I think it's tough finding a fight for Cyborg, and it's tough finding a marketable fight. This fight would have crept up on a lot of people, and it's tough to market a fight against Cyborg unless it's the Rousey fight, maybe Holly Holm or something like that. But those guys are not actually in Cyborg. Well, not currently in the same weight class as Cyborg. And even so, she's in for a horrible weight cut.
Yeah, terrible weight cut. I don't know what she starts at, but reports are she's far away from making it. Even still, what are we fucking 3 or 4 days away from the fight, and she's
Mm.
24 pounds out,
Oh my god, it's
10 kgs.
over 10 kgs even. That's ridiculous. 10 kgs, and it's not like Cyborg has a lot of it's not like she really has a lot to lose. She is an incredibly toned fighter, and yeah, that just sounds like a terrible, terrible week.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Kieran about this weight cutting. I know I've heard, I don't know, fucking that it's obviously, well, it's harder for women to drop the weight because of the lack of, well, the less muscle than a male has. But we're
Mm.
talking about cyborg here, so that's a little different, but it's a huge weight cut, man, and I don't know. We'll see what she looks like on the scales, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. She is noted for having very, very tough cuts. And that's to get to like 145 and 140. So it's just tough. She potentially could be like a super heavyweight female fighter, but then who's she going to fight? A whole bunch of out of shape chicks that can throw overhands or something like that.
This is true, and like everyone calls for her own division, like for her and who. I'm not sure how
Mm,
that's gonna work. She's still gonna have to come down and meet someone halfway. You know what I mean?
mm. That's right. Like that division needs a lot of development at this stage. There's a lot of well-rounded female fighters, but there's not a lot of well-rounded fighters that are at Cyborg's level currently.
No.
We've seen what happens to fighters who have been marketed at that level, and really they went quiet.
Not quite there. She's a beast.
Cheers.
Much respect. Put some respect on Cyborg's name. She's actually like a superstar. You know what I mean? She's carrying this fucking card almost. Like
Mm.
you got Henan, Burrell. You got Big Country and Silver, but she's basically carrying this whole card in Brazil. Obviously, speaks volumes of her. We all know she's huge everywhere. So imagine what she's like in Brazil. She'll be a fucking superstar.
Yeah, that's right. She's been arguably the best pound for pound in women's MMA for years and years now. Almost 10 years since she was just demolishing everyone in Strikeforce pre-pop, pre-pop,
Pre-pop.
pre-pop. But yeah,
Yeah, that was a while ago.
yeah, that was a long time ago. And also on that card, yeah, like you say, Brow, Nelson, that seems like an easy KO for Nelson. Nelson versus Silver. But Silver's got hands, and Roy Nelson's chin's getting a bit old and a bit more worn as well. So I'm looking forward for Felder. Felder Trinaldo. That is a
Chair.
good fight for me, Paul Felder.
Chair. Yeah, that is a good fight. I'd like to see where Hennon's at right now against Philippe Nova, who I don't know who the fuck he is, but Roy Nelson and Antonio. Of course, I'll watch that. Someone's going to get their lights turned off. I've seen Bigfoot decline, but there's always that. He took out Reem and he took out fucking Travis Brown, I think, out of nowhere. Like,
yeah.
He can do whatever he wants, and Roy is just so one-dimensional now. It's not even fucking funny.
Yeah, like Roy could use his ground game, maybe not against Bigfoot. Bigfoot's accredited black belt. Bigfoot is huge. He can throw heavy, and Roy is willing to take a shot to give a shot.
Yeah, he can still take way more punishment than fucking Bigfoot can. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's right. If Roy even gets a glancing shot on Bigfoot from the overhand, it's definitely over.
Who else is on this? Thiago Santos. No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
What's his name? Silva, Eric Silva, and Luan Chagas.
Ooh, it's a good memory you got there, bro. Yeah. Nah. Nothing's appealing. Sorry, I'll still watch it, of course, for the action.
Yeah, that's right, but nothing huge at all, really. Personally, well, GCA Formiga versus Dustin Ortiz, that'll be a good fight. Maybe a fight with some implications. Formiga is number 3 in the division, so it's home fight for him. He'll be coming out with a full head of steam. Full crowd would be behind him.
Chair. Yep. No. No idea.
Should we move into? Shall I drag an old Kieran Joblin?
Yeah, bro. I sent him a little message. He hasn't seen it yet, but yeah, we'll touch base with Kieran.
All right, sweet. Sent him an invitation. Maybe you want to just send him the link as well?
Yeah, done that,
bro. All right, sweet. Cool. Well, when he comes in, he comes in. What else have we got on our list for today? Inside MMA is done.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Inside MMA yourself?
Of course. I could not. Who couldn't be a fan of Bas Rutten? And even I used to like Kenny Rice. I thought he was okay. Marolo or fucking whatever his name is. He's obviously one of the most experienced dudes. Yeah, he's one of the most experienced dudes there are, and he always works well with fucking Bas. Bas, yeah. So they closed their show. I think it was 7 years or 9 years.
Not sure. 2009, 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years on Access TV.
Yeah.
Man, to tell you the truth, I watched a lot of it, but it was all like fucking small segments that popped up on my Facebook, or
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
go to
sure.
the YouTube and I'd watch like segments. I don't watch a whole lot of full shows, but I mean they had the who's who of everyone, and all the
Mm.
interviews were always good.
Very slick program, very slick program. Always great, Basser, and like the guy is mesmerizing. He's charismatic, and he's got so many good stories. If you've seen his How to Win a Bar Fight videos on YouTube and stuff, the guy is an animal. He is ruthless, and El Guapo. He is a very funny guy. He's great to listen to. It would be a dream to have him in the UFC. Imagine him commentating with Rogan or with Goldie or with someone like Ken Florian. That would be great.
Dang it, dang it, dang, bro! Don't you ever do this
Dang it, dang
again.
it, dang it.
I don't believe in eye for eye. I believe in two eyes for an eye. Yeah, bro. Imagine Bass and fucking Brian Stan or
Oh,
anyone.
that would be
Yeah,
great.
Bass and anyone. Like we already know that Rogan doesn't want to do any international pay-per-views anymore or any international
Boom, Bass and
UFCs.
Kenny.
Fuck, throw Bass in there if he's keen. He might be a bit of a family man now, but throw him in there, 100%.
I'd love to see him, even if they do Bass and Morrow. Get them in like once every 6 months to do a pay per view. That would be great.
Yeah, I think Moro isn't he already working fucking something? Surely.
Does he do WWE? Is that right?
I wouldn't know. I'm not
I
sure.
yeah. Let me just check my resources here.
Yeah, but he's done it all. What he was doing, Strike Force, wasn't he, as well? Before they
Yeah,
went
yeah.
down.
Old school. Didn't he? Yeah,
Um,
he's done it all.
yeah, he's done it all. He's been there, done it all. I mean, Bus, there might be a little thing there. I'm not sure if Bus is still doing World Series of Fighting, but he was, I think,
He
off
was,
the
yeah.
top of my head. So that might be something that might not work out for them. But yeah, I mean, he's just a great dude, man. And the other guys,
Yeah, Morrow. He signed with the WWE for their SmackDown program in January this year.
okay.
So yeah, I have no idea. I don't watch wrestling at all, like yourself. So I have no idea. But yeah, it would appear that he is signed with WWE, at least. But yeah,
Now,
Bass. I'd
yeah.
love to have Bass on UFC.
Why do you think something like that that looks so successful? Why would something like that, fall over?
Who knows? There's so many things behind television. There's so many stakeholders and things like that. Maybe these guys, like you say, Bass might be a family man now. Morrow might be a family man now. It's a day and a half or something out of their schedule that they just don't have anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to know why and how
I
it
don't,
was like a staple of MMA fucking media,
yeah, potentially ratings might have dipped off, but I have no insight into that. So yeah, I'm
No,
not sure.
yeah, we can only guess. I would like, off the top of my head, I would say that no, it wouldn't be, but maybe, like, because MMA is obviously growing so much, and that's one of the top fucking things. Maybe these podcasts and all these internet dudes are, chipping away at those TV
Yeah,
guys.
maybe people want something a bit more grassroots. There might be a bit of oversaturation going on in terms of those well-produced programs. People just want something that's easily consumable and maybe a bit more raw. I have no idea, but if so, that's great. That's great. Getting back to more of a grassroots feel in general.
Yeah, bro. So where do I get all my shit from now? It's still MMA fighting, still Ariel Helwani.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, podcast. Yeah, I mean it's true. I mean that was never fucking played on TV here anyway, so I only really got it off,
That's right.
like I said, bits and pieces here and there. But it seemed like
You know,
one of the ones.
I don't know how big the coverage for Access TV is, but I don't know if it has too much of an international footprint. I remember asking their Twitter page numerous times how I could watch it legitimately in New Zealand, but doesn't there wasn't much going on there.
On their social media was no good.
No, didn't appear to have many answers, but yeah, that's just how it is, I guess. Um, something else that's coming up, which was recently confirmed by Dana White, is the UFC 205 main event.
Yeah, today it was a tweet went out by some dude. I don't know if he was a random guy. Dana likes to sometimes pop his head up and fucking say shit to any old dude. It's cool. But so the guy asked to confirm for Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez at 205. Dana shot that down and said it would be Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, he denied it, and yeah, Habib versus Eddie Alvarez it's a hell of a fight. It's, Habib has got hands, and he is a high level grappler. Combat sambo is about as close to MMA as it gets. For something that isn't MMA, so it's a hell of a fight.
Massive fight, man. Yeah, I'm almost as excited for that fight as Connor fight. It's probably it's a great fight that I'd love to watch. Habib deserves it. Eddie Alvarez is gonna give him a fucking good scrap. That's mean. And so you throw that in there. What was our main event? I can't remember now.
Well, co-main.
Co-main? Did we have a co-main or a main?
For what? For that fight?
205.
I think Woodley versus Thompson was rumored.
Yeah.
That would be a good fight.
Yeah, that would be main, wouldn't it? I think that's confirmed. That's confirmed.
Wow, that's dope. That's huge. It kind of kills the momentum for a UFC 209 Double Diaz for Nate for the title, because now they would have to squeeze in a McGregor versus Habib fight. Habib might not even make it to the fight, so he's not noted at making it to fights. He gets injured here and there.
Yeah, he has had a few injuries. That AKA Hoodoo is on him as well. They must train so fucking hard there. Like, they're getting injured all the time. So that's looking like a good card already. Having that at my house, if you want to come over, JB, I think I'm going to make you come over anyway because I'm going to need a hand using my smoker for the first time. So
yeah, that's us.
205 at mine's.
I'll bring a bag of Manuka.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can split it up and chuck it in.
Aye, no, that sounds fantastic, mate.
Mint. Right, cool. But yeah, that UFC 205, once that card fills out, that should be a good one. And another card that needs to fill out is the UFC Melbourne card.
Yeah, bro. Sales are looking good for that one. Apparently, from who the fuck was it? One of those Aussie dudes.
Mm. But where's the card?
My memory's terrible tonight, man. I need some Alpha Brain or something. Where's the card at? Yeah, there's no card. There's only Rockhold and Jacare, which is an awesome fight.
That's right. There's a great main event, but it's definitely not a card. It's like, Hangman hasn't had a fight announced. Who did you say was there? Dan Kelly? Judo Dan Kelly?
Judo Dan Kelly. So they had a press conference, a scrum, so to speak, with Tom Wright, who's the
Asia Pacific NZ, is it?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. No, I think he's like Canada. Fuck, is he?
Oh yeah, Canada, Aussie, NZ. That's right. He's got like a weird territory.
Yeah, he does. But he's there. Rockhold's there, and Dan Kelly's there, and all the Aussie media, which was all of fucking 5 dudes, I think. But yeah, no fight for Dan Kelly, even though he's standing right there talking to media. Rockhold's obviously got his fight. He's looking very, very confident, as he does. He thinks he's just going to do the same thing he did to Jacare, and he just believe, achieve, conceive.
Yeah, conceive, believe, achieve. Yeah, that was one of the funniest videos we ever had, actually. But yeah, who are you picking for that main event fight, Jacare versus The Rock Hold?
Okay, so this is hard for me. Obviously, I sometimes don't make my picks on skill set. I go on who's a fucking bigger douchebag than the other person. And in this case, it's really obvious that I'd probably be going for Jacare. I think he's
Yeah.
amazing anyway. His jiu-jitsu is just fantastic, but also his striking, and he's not afraid to strike to get to the jiu-jitsu. He's not one for like, just faking and then going for that shot straight away. He wants to throw hands to start with. So I'm gonna pick Jacare Souza.
Yeah. I think Rockhold will be very hungry coming back. Yeah, I think Rockhold will be real hungry coming back after losing the title. Obviously, he'll want to get straight in there against whoever has the title by the time he's in the position to fight again. So I think he's going to be putting it all out there. And yeah, potentially, I think that's going to open him up to get hurt by Jacare and then finished on the ground.
Cool. And the title implications for this, it's a weird one. So you got, after this, we have Dan Henderson versus Michael Bisping for the middleweight title.
Yeah.
If Dan wins, he retires, and the title becomes available, right? If Bisping wins, and Rockhold wins, I'd bet everything that it would be a rematch.
Yeah.
So it throws it all up in the air. Like whoever wins this will be the next title contender. And then you got Weidman and Yoel in New York. That's confirmed too. Weidman and Yoel Romero.
Yep.
So potentially, there's like 3 or 4 dudes all still vying for that title.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. If Hendo were to take the title and then vacate the title and retire on top, that would be one of the most amazing things ever. But I wonder if they would ever try and push for like a tournament for the title. Like
UFC doesn't do tournaments anymore.
not a nightly tournament, but over X amount of events.
Yeah, nah, I don't like the chances of that. They'll just go off whoever finished the best and whoever's got the most hype. That's how they work, right?
Yeah. So it'd be, if that were to happen, it would be the winner of Jacare, Rockhold, and Weidman.
And Soldier of Roids.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Bro, it was tainted. It was a tainted sample.
That's tainted samples, mate. Buy all the samples. One of them's tainted.
They should just get John Jones and Mikey Cowie just to find all the tainted samples in the world, and then just no one's ever going to get busted again once those guys find all the tainted samples in the world.
Yeah, man. If someone's smart enough, they could just make that batch and those samples, and then just be that guy. When someone gets busted, you go to that guy and you give him whatever. And
like, there you go, bro.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Oh, that guy probably already exists.
Yeah.
It's Monkey Cowie himself.
Yeah. Oh, shit. So let's go back. We're talking about Bisping Hendo. Who do you want to win?
I think.
No, not who you think. Who do you want? Who do you want to win? Who do you want the fairy tale to be for?
That is a hard question.
Yeah.
I could go either way on that. I would be so happy either way to see either one of them had Bisping to retain, and to retain at home after all these years and be a legitimate middleweight champion would be amazing. But then ultimately for Hendo to take the title from Bisping at home and like another highlight KO, that would be epic as well.
Isn't it? It's win-win, isn't it? Yeah, like Michael Bisping deserves it. Dan Hendo deserves it, and he's going to retire regardless. He says, win or lose, I'm going to retire. It's just it's too good.
Yeah, that's right. Hendo's got a storied career, 20 years, 25 years plus. He's fought in Pride, he's fought everywhere. and Bisping has been the poster boy for UK MMA for 15 years. So, well, 10 years. So it's real tough. I would like to see Bisping win it.
Why?
I don't know. I'd like to see him. Like, Hendo's going to retire anyway. I'd like to see Bisping settle the score and retain the title, settle the score with Hendo. Not in a vicious knockout or anything like that. However he does it, some pitter patter and some scoring and whatever. And I would just like to see that happen for Bisping at home. That would be a huge fairy tale for him. And for Hendo not to win it, it wouldn't tarnish his legacy.
Boom. Yeah, I think you just swayed me to who I'm going for Bisping to go out. No, not to go out, but to go on as the champ. It's not a fluke. Do it at home. He deserves it. And then you're right, fucking Dan Hendo's done it all. It's a fucking beat Fedor for fuck's sake. A heavyweight, the greatest of all time. To put that last notch on the belt would be great, but I mean it's just the last notch. You know what I mean? He's already got so many. Let's have Bisping just prove, it wasn't a fluke. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and that would help, potentially stabilize the middleweight division. He would get his respect, and it potentially is better for the sport if Bisping wins than if Hendo wins and then vacates the title.
Yeah, it would throw the whole fucking thing up in the air, wouldn't it? If Hendo actually won and then retired and
then bounced, yeah. Still no less a fairy tale, but for me and for you, the more appealing fairy tale is Bisping.
Yeah. No, you got me there. Yep, convinced me on that one. I think it's a better story because Dan's one is just already so great.
That's right. His story is just full of highlights. To have one less or one more, it's less of an impact on the whole body of work than if Bisping were to retain at home against Hendo, especially.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about these Kiwi fighters from last week, eh?
Yeah, bro. Yep. Where do you want to kick it off?
I'll kick it off with Israel, the style bender Adesanya. He's had another fight in China. He's got another one coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks. He's just stacking those paychecks, which is fantastic, on his way to glory. The only hard thing is it's hard to fucking watch him in China, but I believe he's getting paid really, really well in China. And the question is, will a lot of fighters from New Zealand, I think, see that route? There's another avenue there. Go do some kickboxing in China if you're good enough. Obviously, if you can make a crowd and make a name for yourself over there and get paid, before you grind your way into the UFC.
Yeah, that's right. If you can make your name over there, you can make a bit of a splash. You can sell some tickets. You can play their game, which is like a very respectful martial arts-based game, rather than a huge hype game that you get in Western martial arts and mixed martial arts. You like the style bender could be sitting pretty, fighting on the rig, fighting in China. And all over the world, potentially once he becomes a hit, they're just going to book him for wherever they can.
Yeah, bro. I was discussing this with my other bro, and he's like, well, why is the style bender fighting in China, and why isn't he in the UFC yet? And I mean, he probably should be, but we don't know. But I think he is over there getting paid. He obviously use that money, to finance his training. And I think by the time the UFC eventually picks him up, he'll be such a big name anyway that he'll get in there, not on the ground floor, halfway in, with a good pay, and a name. I think that's a good way to get in.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, why jump in the UFC with a seven to win, seven to show deal when you could fight for a couple of years in the international circuit for a couple of good federations, and then enter in the UFC with like a 25-25 deal?
Yes, mate. Yes,
And
I think it's
meanwhile,
good.
you've been earning more than that 7-7 deal fighter would have been earning for maybe a couple of fights a year for that 2 years.
Yeah, and I hate to talk about his financial. It's really none of my business, but maybe he could put some away, and I know the training here is fantastic, but to go with some of that money to those camps, those super camps or somewhere else where there's more experience, that's got to be a good thing for him.
That's right. Well, he's already trained with AJ, Anthony Johnson, Rumble. He's trained with Rumble, Henry Hooft. He's done a bit of time in the US. So I'm sure Izzy would love to be over there, and it's going to be great to see him back in glory as well. That's
Well,
that's
yeah,
exactly what we're saying. He's done his hard yards over in China. Now Glory have been like, yo, what's up? And then he'll do a few fights in Glory, potentially the UFC, Bellator, kickboxing / MMA. What if he gets picked up by Bellator? That's some Viacom money they've shown over the last month that they have got some deep pockets.
boom. It's actually, yeah. So he's been re-signed to Glory. He's had one fight there. He
That's right.
didn't get the W, but fuck, it was a mean fight. I just watched it the other day again, and it was just so brutal. Just fucking slap, slap, every punch, bang, fucking
That
slap, kick.
that kickboxing striking when you're watching the top kickboxing, there's nothing like it in the UFC ever. It makes the
Mm.
UFC striking look sloppy. When you're watching these guys like Izzy, Joe Schilling, the top fighters strike, and they're just on point. They're just delivering everything perfectly.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah. It's the hard man sport, that bloody Muay Thai and that kickboxing. But like you said, that Bellator man with their kickboxing now. He's in a glory. It's a tournament, so he's got to win. I think it's a four-man tournament. So all the best for that. But the options of for Bellator, I mean, they would let him kickbox one fucking month, and then 4 months later he could have an MMA fight under Bellator as well. That's how they roll.
Oh, Bellator's weekly as well, so
Yeah, let the
Bellator's
man rest. Let the man rest.
the man makes some money, yo.
Um, yeah, yeah, Izzy. Oh man, I just wish him all the best, mate. You know what I mean? And I think he's got everything he needs to go as far as he wants to go. While we're on the subject of Bellator, let's talk about the bad guy, Chow P's son.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. Pillow Punches himself has been signed by old Bellator. So that's, it's a land of no USADA. So potentially there could be some crazy super fights. What, him versus Tito? Is that official?
All right, so I listened to his podcast the other day, and he pretty much so what happens is we'll address the USADA thing first because a lot of people think he's running away. He said, look, Bellator has their own testing in California. He says it's just as rigorous as as USADA, and his contract that he signs, if he tests positive, he said that he loses his whole purse. So that's one thing. It's hard to believe every single thing he says, but I did believe it because it was just Chael being Chael. It wasn't the bad guy talking. And yeah, the other thing is he's basically called out Tito. The first guy he went there, he says he wants to fight Rampage, Vanderlei, obviously, and Tito. And Tito's first on his list, so he's just waiting for Tito to, to accept, which I think Tito has done. He mocked him the other day on Instagram or something. He was laughing his head off at him.
Shea will cave in Tito's brain with his smack talk, man. He is going to make Tito just want to kill himself. Like he is so high level with his smack talk that he will make Tito, like, you know, if he starts attacking Jenna or anything like that, he will just destroy Tito way before the fight.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'll back Tito. I've been backing Tito since day dot. He's my dude.
So you think he's going to be able to outgrind Sale?
No, probably not. But that doesn't mean I don't pick. That's how I do my picks. I don't know. It's fairy tale for Tito. Any win for Tito is just magic, you know, at this stage. But Chael's tough coming back. He'll be in peak physical fitness preparation and all that bullshit. But him against Rampage, I don't like because he's just going to wrestle fuck Rampage, and Rampage don't want that. And but Vanderlei, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, that Vanderlei fight is almost definitely going to happen. I'd say that's marketing central, dude.
Yeah, easy. Just play back those tapes. Oh well, they probably can't, or they'll just have to interview them again or whatever, and we'll just wait for Vanderlei to finish up in Ryzen.
Ryzen, he might not have signed an exclusive deal in Ryzen, so yeah, we might be seeing him soon.
Yeah. I mean, just finish his fight. That's already. I think it's.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Who's he fighting?
I don't know. I think that's about a 16-man tournament or some shit, and
sounds
and
like
they got
Royal Rumble or some shit.
Yeah, man. It's like a Fedor, Vanderlei. They got Kron. There's a tournament bit, and then there's some other bit to it.
So there's like a card, and there's a tournament as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not all in one night though. It's over time.
It's over. This thing we refer to as time.
Time, you know.
Speaking of time, where's your mate?
Oh, where's my bro? I'm not sure, man. I checked in with Kieran the StoneCutter Joblin only an hour ago, and he said he was good to go. But you know, he is a family man, and I'm sure he's got a fantastic excuse. And I will not say a bad word about Kieran because he pulled my head off.
Yeah. No, put respect on his name for sure. Put respect on his excuse. So
I was gonna save that for when he got here. But Kieran obviously fought last Saturday in Aussie for Carnage in the Cage. He defended his title for the second time, lightweight title. He's just a great ambassador. The way he holds himself and acts, very humble. You know, fight anyone, anytime, anywhere, and he was straight back into Canterbury Fight Centre. I think fucking 2 days later, grinding straight away.
Yeah, that's right. Anyone who's been able to speak to Kieran himself or caught your interview with Kieran a few weeks ago now, they would know that he is definitely an ambassador for the sport. He's a great guy and he's a great fighter.
Yeah, he is, and it's just, you know, a couple others like Matt the Viper Vale. He fought. He lost a close decision, I believe, if I can remember correctly. But yeah, just it's all experience, you know. He's a young fella. A lot of dudes popping up on the radar, you know, and I think my radar's strong, but obviously someone else has got a stronger radar than me. They always do. But like we've got Shane Young popping up, you know, that Gina Fabian just popped up on my radar.
That's right.
What's just fucking everywhere, and all like, you know, doing really well, doing shit overseas, and potentially on the cusp of signing to any major organization. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, well, these are people who have been, you know, quietly achieving in the background and just ticking over and just doing the hard work and putting in the hours and doing the yards, and now that's all starting to come to fruition for them, and it's great to see. And it's great to see, you know, the media starting to take actually take note and pay attention to what they're doing and shine a light on their hard work. So that's great, and that's that's a result of the work of people like Dan Hooker and Israel Adesanya, Ev Ting, people who have been putting forcing that spotlight on themselves.
Yes, bro. Yeah. A lot of dudes with respect, they all are a lot and a few and a lot. They all follow that Dan Hooker blueprint.
Mm,
They give him a lot of respect. I fucking hear his name all the time, which is
that's
which
right.
is amazing. He is from that
He's like
strike
such
force.
a fundamentals guy.
Yeah, he's from that strike force family, which is a big family in New Zealand. A lot
Yeah.
of good talent come out of there. Ev from Auckland MMA, carved his own fucking successful career. But yeah, I hear a lot of respect and a lot of people trying to follow in Dan's footsteps.
Yeah, that's right. Great footsteps to follow, and like many of our New Zealand high flyers and fighters. So that's great. What would you like to move on to now?
Um, Tough 24. Did you watch? Are you up to date with Tough
Mm,
24, bro?
I am. I am. It's pretty tough to stay up to date for Kiwis that don't have Sky, because UFC Fight Pass is actually on media blackout. I think it's like a 30-day blackout, so you end up getting it 30 days delayed, which is pretty shit. But yeah,
Oh, it's
definitely up to date.
unacceptable.
Well, that's the nature of contracts and rights and things like that, and that's something we've had a brief education on ourselves. So with our own enforced media blackout, which came to an end maybe about 2 months ago now. But yeah, it's a great season. Kai Carter France himself is obviously one of the focal points for many New Zealanders, and also it seems for the show itself. And this week was another great episode.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Damasio Page, which was
Mm,
the only name I knew apart from Kai's name.
mm.
When
Yep,
when
yep.
the cast was announced, ex
He's a
well,
bad mofo, man.
bro,
Demarcus.
he's a bad dude. Ex UFC fighter, just a bad
Mm-hmm.
man.
Got a bit of a
And
history with Henry Cejudo.
yeah, bit of a history. Well, he was supposed to fight him, I think, at one stage, but he had a massive fight. It was great to watch
Right.
against the other young fella who I can't remember right now.
Antolin.
Antolin.
Yeah, that was his surname, Antolin. Yeah, that was a great fight, man. Well, he put him away in the second round. Sorry, he put Damasio Page away in the second round.
Yeah, yeah, he did. I was awesome, man, because I mean, Damasio came out with mega confidence, and the other guy was speaking like, if I can beat Damasio and he's a legend, and all these words that some fighters would never use. And he just came out perfect game plan, man, and it was great to watch.
Yeah, great to watch. Great fight. Great season. I'm looking forward to Kai's next fight, which is probably going to be in a couple of weeks. So, how many fights have we had so far? We've had
There's only
5,
been 3 episodes, and so we had 2 fights on the first one and another 2 fights, so we've had 4.
4. So, there's 16 of them. So there's going to be 4 fights, 8 fights in the first round. So potentially Kai's not going to fight for ages.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
good.
bummer, and
Man,
we
it's
don't
great
really.
time for him to like springboard and skill up and rest up and get that good nutrition in and do everything right for like a few weeks.
Yeah, but nah, it's those obviously that was filmed like daily. They were fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
At the time.
But 8 fights is what is that, like a week?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The other good thing about it is like there's just seems to be less fucking bullshit drama and
Mm,
fucking made for TV fucking bullshit. It's just pretty pure. A lot of just watching the training. There's terrible. terrible back and forth between Cejudo and
Uh,
Benavides, but for the most
Cringing
part,
the whole time,
it's
eh?
really watchable. You know,
Mhm.
as a dude and as a fight fan, it's really watchable.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely went for the drama angle when they were going for a wider base to their audience. But now I think they've responded to a lot of calls that people have been making to trim the drama out of it. There's always been drama in The Ultimate Fighter. Anyone who denies it just is in denial about it. And also the same as when they started having women on the show, and then they were like, "Oh, it's just people crying now." If you have watched any season of The Ultimate Fighter, it's always just dudes crying after they lose. And why wouldn't you? It's like for a lot of people, it's their hopes and dreams resting on that fight, and they've just lost it, potentially lost it also. There's definitely a lot of drama just intrinsically in The Ultimate Fighter, but to see less sort of low rent drama is great.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a fan of it. It's easy to watch. I haven't seen any of the tough Latin. That's got fucking Chuck on it and fucking Forrest Griffin, but I haven't watched one episode of that. I find it hard too.
Was
Um,
that episode also in Spanish, Portuguese as well?
yeah, man, it's all in Spanish or Portuguese, and it's all
It's
subtitled
actually
except for
it's tough reading subtitles, man. Especially if you have other stuff to watch that doesn't have subs. It's sometimes it's a bit too draining just to watch a subtitled thing.
yeah, that must do well over in Brazil
Oh, no
and
doubt. Latin
any
America,
country that yeah.
that's why they've done so many seasons of it, because it is just killing the ratings in Latin America.
Yeah, yeah, and they've rewarded them with fucking Chuck Liddell and Forrest Griffin as
Mm.
coaches, So
Some
good
Hall
on
of
that
Famers.
audience. Yeah, man, it's cool.
It'd be great if they would reward an Australian audience and give us, a season of our own that was filmed in Australia, and maybe had a Pan Pacific with New Zealand, Australia, all of the Southeast Asian and Pacific Islands, all of them, and it's centered in Sydney or something like that. That would be great, and it was Australia
All right.
versus the world.
Oh, Australasia versus the world.
Well, no, Australia versus the rest of the Pacific and Southeast Asia, or you could
Ah,
have
okay. Yep.
the Pacific versus Southeast Asia.
Yep. I do. If we did a New Zealand versus Aussie, who would you have coaches?
Well, what divisions would you have?
Well, let's make it easier, and we'll say that the coaches don't have to fight at the end; they just have to coach.
Oh yeah. So you could have retired fighters then.
Yeah, you could have. Well, you could have. So, what's? I'd probably go fucking Dan and Rob, wouldn't you?
Yeah, those guys could fight at the end.
Are they in the same division?
No, they're not.
No,
But they they
they
could
could.
meet in lightweight, couldn't they? Wait,
Yeah,
what's Rob's a
Rob's
middleweight?
middle.
They could meet at welter. I'm sure Dan would love to not cut any weight.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him fight at fucking. Well, he's not at heavyweight, but I've seen him fight at heavyweight before. So
But there's nothing
yeah,
in that fight for either of them though to do that. But
no,
yeah,
exactly.
if the fighters don't have to fight at the end, potentially you could have why not just have like Mark Hunt and someone, because you'd have to pull some ratings with the coaches. That's where the ratings
Fucking
would have to come from, because the fighters potentially would not have a huge following.
yeah, you're right. It'd be hard. And Mark's claiming Australia too, so he might be fucking want to coach those fellas.
Yeah, I'd say he would. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. Mark versus Eve.
All right. Oh, did we talk about Mark Hunt versus someone in Melbourne? He's potentially going to be fighting Andre Ovlosky or Josh Barnett.
So the guys who fought 2 weekends ago now. Andrei Arlovsky, the Pitbull, and Josh Barnett, who was the victor in that fight. That was a good fight, hard-won fight. Man, who would you rather see him fight?
Um, I'd probably rather see him fight Josh. Helps him more in the rankings, I guess.
Mm.
Coming off that win, and I don't want Andre to die.
Which is always a risk if you're stepping into the cage with Mark Hunt. But yeah, absolutely, Mark Hunt could potentially put Arlovsky away very, very, very quickly. He
Yeah,
could do that to Barnett as well, but Barnett could potentially grapple fuck him to death as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, potentially that
He's
fucking
a heavy
ground game
guy.
of Barnett.
He's a heavy, heavy guy. You know, he probably stays heavy for a reason in the heavyweight division. You know, it's good for your top game, good for your momentum when you're going for a takedown.
Yeah. What does he weigh in at? Do you know? Pretty high.
I don't know. He probably weighs in at like in the 50s, 250 or something, where he doesn't really need to cut. He's a big dude.
Hmm.
Long time fighter, been popped a couple of times, I think. Didn't he have to surrender the belt once in the early UFC days for being popped?
Yeah, I believe so. I was checking him out the other day. I only saw one pop, but could have been more.
I think maybe just one in the UFC.
Hmm.
Yeah, the UFC in the early days had a lot of interesting retirements of the belt. BJ Penn had to let the belt go. I think Bass had to retire the belt at one stage because he wanted to fight in another federation. And yeah,
Wild
interesting
Wild
times.
West.
Yeah, when the UFC didn't have the prestige behind its belts that it does these days.
Yeah, we wouldn't see. No one's going to give that shit up these days. Not on purpose, anyway.
Hendo.
Well, yeah. He's leaving though. If he was staying, he wouldn't fucking do it.
What if he changes his mind post fight?
That's always a possibility, but I mean, I think he's thought this. I think he said that he was about to retire. He was done, and then they offered him that
Oh, the
opportunity.
Bisping rematch.
Yeah, and fuck yeah, like obviously,
Why
but
wouldn't
he was
you know?
done.
Imagine what pay-per-view points he'll be getting.
Yeah, hopefully all of them. Like, hopefully he goes out with a bang.
Retires with 5 mil.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright,
yeah,
sweet. Should we call it?
yeah, bro. We'll finish up here. Thanks for listening. We'll hook up with Kieran another time. Shouldn't have promised that at the start. Next time I'll hold on to my secrets as long as I can.
Well, sweet. It was all good. It was always great to chat with you, and I'm looking forward to this weekend's fights.
Yeah,
That'd be
bro.
good.
Yeah, are they normal times?
Yeah. It's, UFC seems to prioritize everything for primetime US, so that's always going to be our afternoon Sunday. So
Yeah, it's
brilliant,
good. It's
perfect.
good.
Let me know when you're going to come over and smoke some meat.
Yeah, bro. That sounds rude to some, but we be getting into that charcoal flavor, eh? And I can't wait to come and try your wares, mate.
Yeah, and let me know when you buy your when you get your smoker, and I'll bring a bag of wood up for you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm looking for second-hand Weber at the moment. I think I'm going to pass on the warehouse one. Well, just for the minute.
Yeah. Well, if you're on a basic web, anyway, this is something we don't need to talk about on the podcast. That's for another podcast called Barbecue Bros.
Barbecue Bros.
You're listening to the Barbecue Bros.
All right, yeah, chair. I'll sign off. Thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, we'll just do it again next week, eh?
Yeah, sweet. Chat. Dang it.
Dang.